Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fuel for Success. This is Mike, and it's good to see everyone that's on here. It's episode 127 today, and my co-host Matt is in transit back to Florida from Ohio, so we're giving him the day off today. And I've got my good friend Tommy Parmeter that we're going to be bringing on the show here to interview him. I apologize for the delay. He actually hit some traffic this morning because the president of the United States is in Minneapolis, and on his way into the office, there was some traffic issues. So we're going to get him on as quickly as we can. He's a great guy. You're going to like hearing from him. In the meantime, if anyone has any questions about business development and entrepreneurship, by all means, jump in and ask those questions. I'd love to field them while we're waiting for Tommy to get on here. And just one of a few things I want to bring out and remind everyone that today is Thursday, and just like every Thursday on Fuel for Success, we talk about business development, entrepreneurship, and of course, we know that Fuel for Success is a daily internet talk show that brings sort of five pillars of growth and personal success concepts every day. And the concept is that every day it gives you fuel that will bring you to a successful place in your life. So great to see everybody on here. Appreciate you sticking it out with me as we're running a little bit late. Um, it's interesting how disruptive it can be when the president comes to a city. I remember several years ago when President Bush was in Minneapolis, and my pastor and I were driving up to the north part of the cities, and literally the entire highway shuts down. Every exit. I don't know if you've ever witnessed that, but every exit shuts down, and you just have to sit and wait while the whole highway is closed and the president goes through. Of course, that's for safety, and we understand that. But it made me think, man, I wonder how much it costs just to do that, right? They pull in all the extra um, state patrol and police agencies and everything, and the logistics behind that are amazing to me. So that's definitely can be disruptive for good reason. We definitely need to protect our president and that sort of thing. So and when and Tommy got in, and he's just texted me. He's having a couple of technical issues getting logged on as well. So we'll get him in just a second. Um, Carol says you should interview a wife of someone who starts a business and some of the things they go through. That's a good idea, Carol. You should come in here and I'll interview you. That would be funny. Um, or even maybe the husband of somebody that starts a business and what they go through, because we've got several ladies on here that also run businesses, and that's definitely a different side of the coin. And people are cheering for you, Carol. So you should come on and be interviewed here. Uh, um, Looking back at a few of the questions I have, I'm going to do my best to field some of them. Uh, and just a few things that are coming up. We're working on a month-long schedule. Of course, I mentioned yesterday the 150th episode is coming up on the 29th of July. So look for a big event on that one. And we're working on getting some more guests on and doing some interviews. There's a lot of people in our network that definitely have some interesting things to say. If you know of anyone, that you feel like would be a good candidate to interview for one of these topics, just drop us an email, shoot us a text, something like that. We'd love to hear from you. And let me grab my list of questions here. As you know, Matt and I are both business owners, entrepreneurs, that sort of thing. So this is one of our heartbeats of one of the things that are real everyday, real life. This is what we do, kind of thing. So we like to bring as much advice as we possibly can. One of the questions that we've had in the past, and we covered it briefly, but I had someone ask it again recently. What if someone's not a risk taker by nature? And we talk about entrepreneurialism and entrepreneurship. A lot of times people think big risk, high investment, those sort of things. And so someone's asking, what if you're not a risk taker by nature? Can you still be an entrepreneur? And I think the answer to that is yes. And one of the books that I think it was either last week or the week before on Thursday when we were talking about business development. We talked about the book, The $100 Startup. And, it's possible to start a business with almost nothing. There's let me just make sure I get the name of the company right. But there was a gentleman who started out, he started a business by going to garage sales. So a lot of times a business, all it is that you see a need, you see an opportunity, and you fill that need. And there was a gentleman who started going to garage sales and buying old golf clubs, and he would buy them, for a couple dollars a piece, and he would go to the see, Tommy just joined us here. We'll see if we can get him on air. He would go to these garage sales and buy these old golf clubs. He would refurbish them, clean them up, regrip them or whatever, and sell them on eBay. And so doing that process over and over again, so he'd get a margin there. He'd maybe buy them for $1, sell them for $25, $30. And by turning over all these let me see if I can get you. Are you here, Tommy? By turning
I
over.
think so.
Hey, how are you?
Good now.
Hey, let me just finish the story real quick and we'll get to you, okay, Tommy? So he bought all these golf clubs and
Absolutely.
he would sell them on eBay. And after only a couple of years of doing that, he was able to literally start a business. And he's got, I think it's Golf World or something like that. All across the nation, he's got retail outlets simply from seeing an opportunity and seizing that opportunity. So that situation was, it didn't cost him a lot of money to start it. He didn't have a lot of risk. There's no real risk in buying a set of golf clubs for $1 at a garage sale, spending a couple of more dollars and then listing them on eBay. So he wasn't necessarily a risk taker, but in the end, he ended up with a strong and powerful business. Well, good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Good to be here finally.
I see you're in your vehicle.
Yeah, it's probably the only quiet place I can find right now. So either that or you'll hear screaming kids or forklifts.
One of the two. Well, it's good to have you on the show. I want everybody to welcome my good friend Tommy Parmeter. Lives here in Minneapolis. He's a leader in the church with me and also a business owner. And just wanted to bring him on today. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about some of the things that are going on. So you have a day job, right, Tommy?
Right. Yeah, I'm representing here Lakeland Delivery. That's kind of what I do, probably 50 to 60 hours a week.
Tell me a little bit about what you do there.
So basically, it's a local delivery company. We cover most of northern Minnesota and western Wisconsin, and we deliver just about everything. We've delivered everything from uh, airplane parts to human tissue, organs, and just a little bit of everything. I mean, it's really across the board. We pick up computer equipment a lot. We pack it up, put it on pallets, and ship it off to be recycled. Um, we do some small package stuff. Most of it's big, heavy freight, but we do some residential deliveries. TVs, furniture, that kind of thing. So it's pretty diverse. We kind of cover a lot.
Awesome, and it's basically a trucking company. You guys run straight trucks, and
right,
and you're able to move freight and that sort of thing, like dock delivery and whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We do a lot of dock-to-dock deliveries. We have straight trucks and cargo vans.
Cool. And what's your role there?
Actually, 2 years ago, I opened up the Minneapolis branch. Um, the company's been around for almost 70 years now. It started by my father-in-law's father back in the 50s and up in Duluth, Minnesota. And about 2 years ago, I've been working for the company since 2010 when we started. And at the time, it was just in Duluth. That was the terminal, was in Duluth, and then we covered everything out from there. So then 2 years ago, at the beginning of 2012, we opened up an office here in Minneapolis, and it literally just started out with me, a straight truck, and a cargo van, and I did all the deliveries, all the email and phone calls, and everything. And that was interesting. That took some some hard labor at the beginning. Now I've got a full-time employee and I've got a couple of part-time employees that work for me from time to time. So I'm in the office, but I still get out on the road and do deliveries and pickups and things.
Right. So that's so you sort of manage or run the Minneapolis terminal, if you want to put it that way, right?
Right. And I still help out with some of the things from the Duluth terminal when I can,
Yeah. And of course, I knew all this, so
but mostly
I'm asking leading
right.
questions. Uh,
But mostly yeah.
yeah. Okay. And so really, that was a good experience for you, right? Getting the opportunity under the umbrella of another company to be able to
Oh yeah.
start sort of a new work in Minneapolis, a new setup. Um, and I like what you said about, it was a lot of work, and being the sort of the manager, right? Means you get to do everything
Right.
effectively.
Yeah, that means I do everything. The truck breaks, I fix it. If the toilet clogs, I unclog
Right.
it.
And
That's how it starts.
and so and you went to school for business, right? You went to a great college. And you got a degree in business administration. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. My mom absolutely would not let me not go to college. And I'm glad now. I wasn't so happy about it at the time because I just thought, 4 more years of school. But I'm really glad that I did it. I ended up going to Augsburg College in Minneapolis. That's kind of how I got to know the area down here. That's actually how I met you.
Yeah.
Was through that whole experience. So yeah, I got a 4-year degree in business administration.
Sherry wants clarification on the transport of body parts. So it was organs, right? Human tissue.
Yes. To give you an example, I actually personally went on one of these pickups where I went to the ICU and picked up, uh, for lack of a better term, the uh, donated organs. Somebody had just passed
Mm,
away, and basically we went and picked them up. They were, you know, I mean, the person had just passed away from whatever the case might be. They take their organs immediately, they pack them up on dry ice, like special packaging. We pick it up, we bring it to the airport, and they fly it out on an airplane to awaiting the next awaiting
right.
recipient. So it's pretty like we call that real high
Yeah,
priority
I
stuff.
guess that would be about as high priority as it gets, right? Um,
Yeah, it was a little strange. And that's one thing you don't want to screw up is when it comes to things like that.
yeah, exactly. And Carol's just calling you out, saying Tommy slept on our couch a lot during those college days, and that's definitely true. Um,
This is true.
so, hey, so that's a little background about who you are and sort of what your experience is. And recently, you launched into a new endeavor, right? Can you tell us a little bit? Give me the 30-second elevator
That's
pitch
right.
on that.
Well, as you well know, the newest endeavor is called Let's Do Local, and I'm ashamed. Oh, here we go. I do have one. Good. There you go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, you got this side going. So that's the new endeavor, and no, it's not just business cards. So the whole deal is, I don't know. Have you talked about this on the show
Not really,
before?
maybe briefly, but go ahead.
Okay. So the whole deal is basically it's like CrowdCut or Groupon, but instead of doing email marketing, we do. I don't know how well you can see that number or the text or anything like that, but we do text message marketing where we get businesses to sign up for our services, and what we do is we send out a text to our subscribers. If you want to become a subscriber, all you have to do is you text start to this number here. That's St. Paul, and of course you guys do Hastings. Um, but you just text start to this number, and then we'll start sending you like buy one get one deals and things like that.
Right.
So that's the 30-second rundown.
That's a good 30-second rundown. So the concept is text message marketing on a very uber local scale, rather than like texting into
Right,
Taco
right,
Bell that goes out across the country. It's hyper local. Let's put it that way. And
exactly, and that's who we seek out for customers is the small local businesses, the Joe's Pizza and
Right.
stuff like
Joe's
that.
Pizza that wouldn't necessarily be able to afford $400 a month to have their own text messaging campaign. So,
Exactly.
and And of course, this is just for full disclosure. This is an endeavor that Tommy and I are both involved in. There's some technology that I wrote. Tommy's really spearhead. So Tommy's one of the smartest guys I know. He's got a brilliant business mind, and he's really, taken all of the business side of this whole thing and the idea and really run with it. Um, and I had some technology that I've developed that is being used on the back end. So we're partners in this endeavor. Um, well, let me ask you this though, I was just talking about risk and that sort of thing. We really, $100 startup is a good uh, book to read in relation to this because that's about what we did. Uh, so
Yeah.
so there wasn't necessarily a lot of risk involved. We didn't have to take out a loan, any of those sort of things. We just sort of bootstrapped it. Of course, we have the advantage of you knowing business and me knowing technology, so sweat equity. But what made you
Mm.
decide to really get into starting a business, being an entrepreneur?
That goes back a long way. When I was in high school, I took a class, and it was like introduction to entrepreneurship or something like that. It was an extracurricular, and it really actually sparked my interest. There was few things in high school that did spark my interest, but that was one of them. And I guess from then on, I always wanted to own my own business. Just the idea of it was appealing to me. So that's kind of where it started from. That's where it stemmed from. Um, and then I just pursued it ever since. When I wanted to go to college, I knew I was going to go for business management. That's kind of what I was shooting for the whole time. And after I graduated college, that's when I got offered this opportunity to work for my father-in-law, who owns the company. And the idea is that eventually, he's in his 60s, and eventually he's going to be retiring. So um, he's going to need somebody to fill in for him. So I'm hoping to do that as well. But it was probably last summer, was it? When uh, when we actually went out to lunch after church one day, and I think you started telling Lacey and I about the idea for Let's Do Local. We went out to Oscar, no, not Little Oscar, what was it?
Cahill
Cahill Diner.
Diner, where the pancakes smell like funnel
Yeah,
cakes, baby.
exactly. And really, it couldn't have been a better place to first start a meeting for this idea because it's the perfect example of a small local family-owned restaurant, and that's what it's all about. But you pitched the idea, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I like literally I couldn't get to sleep that night because I had all these ideas running through my head about stuff we could do with it. And I think I talked to you or I called you the next day and like chatted your ear off for the next 45 minutes about all the stuff we could do, and it's been nonstop since.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
So you
yeah,
sort of always felt like it was something you want to do, and you were just kind of waiting for the right opportunity.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Well, and like you said, we've been working on this for several months. We've actually already launched, sort of unofficially launched. We haven't had a launch party or anything like that, but so I guess we should all fly to LA and have a launch party. No,
Hey, there you go.
that's hard to do.
Raise a bunch of capital
Yeah, that's hard to do on a.
just so we can do a launch party.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, so what's been the biggest challenge so far?
With the Let's Do
Yeah.
Local, Spec- probably that's a really good question. Staying focused, I'd say. Um, it's you and I have talked about this before. That million dollar ideas are a dime a
Yeah.
dozen, which is kind of funny because a lot of the times they lack execution. And literally, we could just sit here and talk about this million-dollar idea until we're blue in the face and come up with ideas and whatnot. But until I literally start getting out on the streets and handing people these cards and saying, "Hey, look, this is a really good opportunity. You should sign up," and I start doing that, it never goes anywhere. And so I think the hardest thing for me because I'm pretty busy. I work 50 to 60 hours a week. I've got 3 kids, wife, and church events keep me really busy. And so finding that time, it takes discipline, and I haven't always done that well with it. Honestly, there's some times when I just want to go home and go to sleep.
Right.
But I think that the hardest thing is just staying on track, staying focused, and just doing it. There's really no other way around it. You just have to get your boots on the ground and do it.
I like that. And, I like what you said. And we could probably say that 15 or 20 more times in the last 10 minutes of this show. Um, and that would be enough content and value to really bring value to people, is that $1 million ideas are literally a dime a dozen. And it's the execution that makes the
Right.
difference.
Exactly. And it does. It takes a lot of drive,
Yeah.
a lot of drive, a lot of hard work. There's really nothing that can replace that.
I also like,
This helps too.
yeah,
I drink a lot of coffee.
yeah, me too. This is it's a tech startup that's been launched on caffeine. Um, well, I frequently tell people as a software developer, my job is to convert caffeine into code. It's almost a direct conversion. Um,
Fuel for success, fuel for life.
prayer and coffee.
You can use that, by the
I
way.
appreciate that. I also like what you said about being focused. And here's one of the challenges that I know that you and I, when we meet and we talk about things, and we're both visionary, we're dreamers, we have imaginations, and we'll start talking about let's do local. We'll start talking about the concepts, and pretty soon, we're 6 years down the road, and we have this infrastructure, that
Right.
thing, and we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this, and we have all these ideas, and then we go,
Yep.
time out. What do we need to do right now to hit the market, to deliver what our customers need?
Right.
What is the focus thing we need? What is the lane that we need to run in right now to be successful? And yes, we need to think about the
Yeah.
future and plan for it, but we really need to focus. And to me, that's been a big challenge, especially when you've got an idea as exciting as this one and all the opportunities. It's very hard to stay focused and do
Yeah.
the here and now rather than the big vision.
Yeah. I think you're dead on there. We have ideas upon ideas upon ideas, and all of them so far are untested because we don't know what's going to work or what's not. So I think that was another big challenge, was kind of focusing on what exactly needs to be done now. Like, what is what you call the minimum viable product? And I've got a driver here that's coming up. He's going to ask me what I'm doing.
That's cool.
Hey, Gok, how's it going? Say hi. We're doing a live broadcast.
What's up, man?
Howdy doody.
This is the guy that makes it all work behind the scenes.
Awesome. Good to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too,
So he's
buddy.
got his coffee too. Fuel
So,
life.
yes, absolutely. That's one of the things that we have to do around here to keep us going. We drink a lot of coffee. Sounds good. I'll be in just a few minutes. Thanks. So, it was almost quiet.
Hi, baby. What are you gonna do? Hey,
Yeah. Hey, what do you do? Pause it. Time out.
I also like the fact that you work
So-
at a trucking company and your cup's dented. It just makes me happy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's inevitable. It really is. I went with the steel thing, and it's a good thing I did, because otherwise I'd have shattered pieces of coffee cup all over the place. But
Actually, is that because
now,
you work at a trucking company, or because you have 3 kids, 6 and under?
that actually, I think that was I did this particular one here. Now the scratches is because I work at a trucking company, but the dent I think was actually because of the kids. I think you're right there.
Yeah.
We ended up shutting a door on it, I'm pretty sure.
It's,
But to go back, I think we were talking about minimum viable product. That was something that you kind of brought to the table when we were talking about that, and I think that was definitely a big factor. Is just kind of our head is up in the clouds a lot of the time, and sometimes we got to keep our feet on the ground and look at like what needs to be done right now. Like, what's the main idea, concept behind the whole thing, and how do we make that work? And just get step one done before we move on to steps two, three, four, all the way down to 86.
Yeah. And I think that's good advice, and that maps well into all kinds of different business, not just tech startups. In the technology startup sector, we talk a lot about minimum viable product and figuring out what the boiled down minimum product is that you can bring to market and start generating revenue, so that then you can adapt and react to what the market wants. Because a lot of times we think we know, but doing actual, one
Right,
of the one of the easiest ways to do marketing research is to start marketing, see what happens. Um,
right.
and so finding what minimum viable product, minimum viable service, whatever it is, to get to market quickly and then iterate quickly and make changes as you can to adapt to market is a great strategy. Well, let me ask you.
And there's definitely nothing wrong with having a 5-year plan. I mean, that's one of the things that they drilled into our heads at college was you've got to have a long-term plan. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to have a roadmap of where you're going, otherwise you're going to get
Yeah,
lost. But you also need to take the turn by turns, as you go.
that's good. Uh, what's been your favorite part of starting a business?
Just the learning experience, man. I mean, you never really stop learning. I think when you stop learning, you fall into a rut. And it forces you outside of your comfort zone. It takes you places that sometimes you don't want to go, but after you go there, you're happy you did. Like I don't particularly like just going out and talking to random people all the time. It's not always comfortable, but when you do it, you actually it forces you to grow, and it puts you into kind of an uncomfortable position where you have to adapt, and inevitably you end up growing from that. But like I said, it's much easier to just stick to what you know, but it's not always the best thing for you. So I think that's one of the things that's been fun for me actually is just stepping outside of the comfort zone a little bit, meeting people, learning new things. There's a lot that I didn't know about actually starting a business because I never started one before. So there's a lot to it. There's a long process, and I kind of learn as I go. But it's interesting. It keeps it fun.
So, what do you think the value is of well, here, as you said that, I'm thinking about the people that I know that start businesses and that run businesses, and it seems like almost a common thread is that people who like to learn, who enjoy the process of
Yeah,
learning,
I,
tend to do well.
I'd say that's a necessity. Yeah, I think that's a necessity if you're gonna be in business. You have to be able to learn, adapt, and apply.
Yeah,
Really apply what you've learned.
I like that. Um, so let me ask you this now. You're a family guy. You're involved in your local church. You work full time. This is a common theme a lot of times with people that are starting business. I mean, you got three young kids, you've got a wife, you've got all of these
Mhm.
priorities and all of these responsibilities. How do you find balance?
That's why I'm kind of crazy. I'm not quite all there. I don't think you can be.
Which is
What was the question? I missed it at the end
which
there.
is which is why
Sorry.
we get along.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly.
do you find balance? And if you do, how do you find? Yeah, he hides in a truck. Exactly. That's what Karen said.
I hide in the truck a lot, or any other dark, quiet place that I can find. It is hard to find balance. That's probably one of the most challenging things that I have to deal with is finding balance between what's important. Because sometimes you just gotta see this thing. Sometimes you just gotta shut it off, put it away. Don't answer it. Don't touch it. It doesn't matter. It can wait.
Right.
Because life otherwise just it's just gone. My son just turned 6 on Tuesday, and my wife and I were thinking the other day, like, what in the world? I mean, it just went by so fast. He graduated kindergarten. The other two are walking around talking. It goes by so quickly. So really, the trick is, I guess, to find balance is sometimes you just got to unplug, turn off the phone, shut the laptop off, and just spend time with the people that are really important to you, your family. I think that's essential. We get so busy. We get so busy with everything, with ministry,
Yeah.
with the business. I mean, if I wanted to, I literally could work 14 to 15-hour days all the time. And frankly, to be completely honest, I turn a lot of business down because it's like, no, that's not going to work because I gotta get home. I got to spend time with the family. I could literally be working 15 to 16 hours a day because the opportunities are there. But at some point, you got to say, enough is enough. It's time to shut off work mode and you know
I like that.
focus on family.
That's good advice, and that's absolutely right. And you got a couple of amens there, Tommy, when you said shut this thing off. And I totally agree. And it's true. You could literally stay busy all the time. And one of the things that we tell people is sometimes you got to say no to the good to say yes to the best. And sometimes you got to just like
Mm-hmm.
filter that out and say, what do I want to
That's
spend my
good.
time doing? What are the opportunities? One thing, and I need to let you go, Tommy, because we're out of time. But real quick, Carol said that attitude
Absolutely.
has a lot to do with success. And she says being willing to take advice, don't get hung up on yourself. She's calling you out saying you're good at that. You're good at listening. And so, um,
Well, I'm not always good at it. That takes a lot of practice. uh, that's one of the things that I probably learned the hard way because I think anyone that's um, not a teenager can relate that as you grow older, you kind of realize that you know less and less all the time. When I was a teenager, I'm not ripping on teenagers, of course, but when I was a teenager, I'm just speaking from personal experience here. You think you've got it all figured out, and then as you grow older, you figure out that there's a whole lot more you don't know than what you do know, and that has not been an easy process for me. So yeah, I'm glad that somebody thinks that I'm good at listening. It means, but it's not. It doesn't come naturally. It's something you got to practice.
yeah. Sherry says age humbles us, and I feel like the older I get, the stupider I get.
I feel the same way. I
Man,
feel the same way. No
I know
joke.
half of what I thought I knew.
Yeah,
Well, awesome. Well,
exactly.
we're going to wrap this up, Tommy. I really appreciate you being on the show today. I know
All right.
you
Thank you,
got to
sir.
get to work. Our viewers have really valued this.
Yep.
Karen said she enjoyed it. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Good.
And everybody that's watching, of course, you can watch this on the archives, fuelforsuccess.tv. We're on YouTube, iTunes. Look for fuelforsuccess.tv. Join us tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. We're going to talk about family and relationships. God bless you, Tommy. Have a great day. Love you and your family, man.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. We'll talk soon. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.